thin.
What?
You look thinner.
I'm fatter, man.
I was going to say you look fatter.
Definitely fat. I ate so much pizza.
Pizza in Italy? No way.
It's all that they eat. Are you the right level?
I don't know. He went to Italy. Well, we have to turn these lights on.
Come into the light. Come on now.
Are we always on these sides or on the other sides? You're always on that side, right?
Why don't we just mix it up?
Nah, I don't want to do that, man. It's too much change for me. I can't handle it.
Let's do it once.
Nah, it's too much, man. The
you,
viewers won't be able to understand. They're like, wait.
They're like, wait, which,
I'm me?
Which is the dumb one? We are back. I know you guys missed us.
I love this show.
Ralph was away,
was.
spending all his
Billions and billions and
from YouTube.
All my ill-gotten YouTube money spent
right.
on a 2-week holiday, which is good because I work full-time and I also do YouTube, so I don't really sleep much, so to have a holiday for 2 weeks is kind of
But I just don't know. I mean, first class, did he really need to do a first class? Is the, I don't know about this whole,
I also bought
Patreon
a
business.
first class seat for my luggage as
No,
well,
he was
because my luggage has to travel in style.
He was actually one of those bums, like, jumping on the trains with like the little thing.
The what?
You know the things they hold, like the little bunion bag thing.
The bunion bag.
Bunion bag.
What the shit?
Are you editing this?
I'm editing this video.
Fuck!
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Damn it!
This is.
See, I'm actually quite kind to Ralph whenever I'm editing because the amount of dumb shit he says, I'm like, okay, we can't put that in.
Anyway, the entire fucking video games industry completely went to shit. So if you spent any time online, you're going to have some idea that basically 3 major games were released in the last 2 weeks, and all of them were disgustingly riddled with microtransactions, or people thought they were and they weren't really as bad as they thought. Okay, so first of all, Forza Motorsport 7. It's the Xbox/Microsoft. You can play it on your computer exclusive. The deal with this was that there used to be a pass that you could buy that would give you bonus currency forever, and the last minute they changed it so that you only got like 25 usable races on that token. So instead of getting like endless bonus credits, they made it so if you bought this pass, the VIP pass, you only got 25 races bonus credits.
That's racist.
How's it racist?
25 races. What about the rest of the races?
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Anyway, moving right along, Forza then copped a lot of shit because it also had microtransactions woven into it, and that is the idea that you have to unlock these loot boxes, and right now there are no microtransactions in Forza, by the way. They're not there, you can't buy anything yet, but there's loot boxes that are basically set up for in the future you're going to be able to purchase stuff with microtransactions.
Oh,
right?
so you're saying that there's loot boxes already there.
Correct.
That you can start potentially purchasing, but you can't open them yet.
No, you can't purchase them yet.
Okay,
but
but they're already setting up to start ripping people off.
Well,
pretty much.
I mean, this is where we get into that conversation about loot boxes and whether or not they're ripping people off. And the answer is absolutely they are. Loot
Not
boxes
always,
suck.
but 9 times out of 10 they are.
Very often, if you can buy a loot box, chances are it's probably ripping you off. That's part 1, Forza. Then Shadow of War came out, the new, what do you call it? Mordor game, yeah? First one, really great game. Everyone loved it. It was a bit of a sleeper hit. No one expected it to be this good. And then number 2 came out, and they first announced it. And they
looked really good.
It looked great at E3.
Yeah.
And then the developers did this live stream thing where they showed off the loot box system in the game. And they had this NPC character on the loot box screen, and he's this evil looking orc that goes like this.
Oh my god.
Time is money, friend.
But anyway,
Oh,
it turns
God.
out that the loot boxes weren't as bad in that game as everybody thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like you basically can play through the whole game. You don't need to buy any of them. In the 4th chapter, it can make your game faster.
From what I saw, they are necessary for getting legendary orcs to
they're
fight
not,
on your side.
They're not necessary. You can earn them on your own. You can totally sidestep the system if you want, but you can pay if you'd like, and it's definitely not required. There's all these rumors that it's required in the 4th act. It's not true. In the end game, it's, well, okay, there's 2 things. There's a single player, right? Which everyone's pissed off that this influences single player. Everyone's like, leave single player the fuck alone. Just don't do it. We hate it. That's what everyone got so triggered about in the first instance. And you can play the single player game without worrying about it. But the multiplayer game is like this fort defense thing where your orcs keep dying and you need to replace them. And that means if you're paying, it's a lot easier for you to replace your shit.
That's the cardinal sin, I reckon. Like, although I think multiplayer loot boxes, if you need to buy them, to even compete, it's totally shit.
Yeah.
But you're buying a game, you should at least get the single player. Like if you're paying $60 for a game, isn't that at least what you're paying? Like you're paying $60 at least for a single player experience. Like the thing is, right?
Here we go.
Just quickly. Anyone that plays the single player and experiences a lengthy, drawn-out, shitty campaign because they had to pay they had to put money down, chances are they're not going to line up for the next one. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
It basically says that our game is so shit that you actually want to skip playing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the design intent of a developer then isn't to make that game so enjoyable that you want to keep playing it. It's actually to leave it in its shitty, grindy place so that people are encouraged to skip that grind and get to the end game. And that's just the worst incentive to give developers.
100%.
That trajectory of AAA game development, if developers aren't incentivized to make the grind better, then that's fucked. Like,
what's worse than that is, what if they actually think it's a fantastic journey, but they're willing to sell out that journey because they know they'll make more money just making an easier route? Like,
that's the risk.
That's even worse, I think. If they know they've got a good game.
But the fun keeps coming because after Shadow of War came out, the beta came out for Star Wars Battlefront 2, a game that we played at E3, and we thought it was pretty alright. I mean, I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong.
I was excited for it.
It was a step up over Battlefront 1. And it turned out to be a complete disaster on the multiplayer side. Now, we have a separate video, or we will have very soon a separate video on the single-player campaign on the other channel, Skill Up. So you can check that out. We're going to talk about that there. But the multiplayer side is an absolute fucking travesty. It is the worst of the worst. The very brief description of it, just so you're clear, is that the entire progression system is based around loot boxes. Loot boxes are, you crack them open and there's totally random crap in there. Some of it could be great, some of it could be garbage. The whole game is built around these star cards that you get, and they give you these massive power-ups, like 40%, reduced damage, 70% bonus damage in your starfighter. Like, you're basically God mode when you have some of these really highly ranked star cards active, and you can buy these crates, so you can basically just skip the grind completely, pay to win if you like, no doubt about it. And also, the entire upgrade system in terms of upgrading weapons or unlocking weapons is tied to loot boxes, and it requires so much grinding to be able to unlock shit. It's just top to bottom completely destroyed an experience that I was really looking forward to.
And it's such a short-sighted way of thinking about how do we retain a community, because there's going to be 5% of hardcore fans that'll just buy their shit out of everything they need, so every single game they dominate, and the rest of them will be like, fuck this, I never win any games, why am I coming back to this game? You destroy a community, and no one will come back, because there's going to be a few people that just dominate, and on top of that, when they start dominating and there's no real competition, why are they going to come back too? It's, there has to be an even balance, not only on the people that can go into God mode, but people that don't want to have to spend money. It's going to completely destroy both sides of that community, in my opinion.
So we've got to give EA props somewhere in the fact that they've stopped offering maps as part of DLC now. So when you buy the game, all the maps are going to be free. That's a huge, step up.
And
for
they did
EA.
say that at
they said that at
conference.
E3. So we have to give them props for that. But at the same time, we have to say this sucks. Like, this totally blows. And if this trajectory continues, I really feel like the future of AAA gaming is massively under threat, and we're going to have to rely on AA gaming and indie games to be able to get our fix. Are you going to get addicted to loot boxes, Sam?
I've been addicted to loot boxes since Hearthstone. I'll be like, I'll just buy one.
Just buy one pack, man.
$3,000 later, and
I'm
you're
just
like, hey, you got any?
You got any of those Hearthstone packs?
You got any of those Hearthstone packs?
Man, I'm good for it, man. I swear.